If you are new or about to start TRT, blood work can feel like an alphabet soup. Total T, free T, SHBG, E2, LH, FSH, and pile of numbers. If you are TRT veteran, you probably know most of this already, but you may still pick one or two useful details. In this video, I will show you how to read basic testosterone blood test like a human being. What matters most, how the markers interact, and what it usually means. So you can stop guessing. These are the basics, the core markers men need to understand. There are other things you may check depending on symptoms, but today is the fundamentals. I am not giving you a medical advice here. This is education, so you feel more informed when you see your test and can have better conversation with your clinician. First, units. This is where guys get confused fast. In the US, total testosterone is often shown in ngdl. In UK, Europe and Australia, it's most often in nmol per liter. So don't get caught comparing numbers without checking the units. If someone says my testosterone is 1500, it usually means ngdl. If that was 1500 nmol per liter, you would basically be Incredible Hulk. Think of it as mpg versus liters per 100 kilometer. Same topic, totally different numbers. Estradiol is the same story. You will see pg/L in some places and p-mol per liter in others. One more thing, reference ranges can vary slightly from different labs, and sometimes they change even upon age. Don't panic if your range looks slightly different. Focus on trends, symptoms, and conversation with your physician. Next, timing. Timing makes or breaks the test. Pre-TRT timing matters a lot because natural testosterone is usually highest in the morning and drops throughout the day. So if you are assessing whether you are low and you should even start TRT, ideally you want a morning test and consistent conditions. Timing also matters for metabolic markers, especially for glucose-related results, because food, alcohol, stress and poor sleep can skew results. On TRT, timing is different. If you inject, the cleanest comparison is test on the day of your next injection. Before you take it, so we're measuring the lowest point, not your peak. If you use gel or cream, test before application, not after. Bad timing creates bad interpretations. Now the big one. Most men look at total testosterone and stop. Total testosterone is the headline number, but it doesn't tell you what's actually available. Free testosterone does. To understand free T, you need to know SHBG and albumin. Here is a simple way to think of SHBG. It's like a bus. When testosterone is on the bus, it cannot do its job. When it's off the bus, it's free. That's free testosterone. Free testosterone is what actually helps you function. Energy, mood, training, libido, all the stuff men care about. Albumin is another binding protein, weaker than SHBG, but is part of the overall picture. So you can have total T, which is just within the healthy range, but feel awful if too much of it is stuck on the bus. This is more common than people realize. Normal total testosterone, high SHBG, low free testosterone, and all the symptoms. This was me exactly 3 years ago. Next, LH and FSH. In simple terms, they are messengers from your brain to your testes. LH is basically the message, we need more testosterone. FSH is another signal involved in the overall system. Think of it as part of the actual production message. This is what your clinician uses to assess whether your hypogonadism is primary or secondary. Is the brain not sending the message properly? Or are the testes not responding to the message? LH and FSH is mostly important before starting TRT. Once you are on TRT, LH and FSH is often suppressed, even close to undetectable. And that's expected. No need to panic when it's low and in red. Now estradiol and prolactin. These can massively affect how you feel. Estradiol matters for mood, libido, erections, joints, water retention. It's not just female hormone. And chasing perfect number on a paper can backfire and make you feel worse. Ask anyone who crushed their estrogen with overuse of AI. Now prolactin. Here is a simple way to think about it. Prolactin influences your refractory period, how quickly you can go again. If prolactin is high, some men can perform for a long time, but may find it difficult to climax, and then need a longer period of time before they can perform again. If prolactin is very low, some guys become a bit more trigger happy, very easily excited. Prolactin also interacts with dopamine pathways, so if it's off, it can affect mood and motivation. The point is, these numbers can explain a lot of what men experience, and they are worth looking at in context. Thyroid deserves more attention than most men give it. It's a huge subject of its own. But the key point is this. Thyroid symptoms overlap heavily with low testosterone symptoms. Fatigue, brain fog, low mood, poor recovery, weight changes. That's why ideally you want full thyroid panel before starting TRT, so the clinician can clearly see what's driving your symptoms. Low testosterone, thyroid issues, or both. Otherwise, you can end up treating the wrong thing first. A quick one on CBC, blood count markers. TRT can increase natural production of EPO, and EPO stimulates production of red blood cells. So it's common for men on TRT to sit at the top of the reference range and sometimes even slightly over. People online call this thick blood. But that's oversimplification. Your clinician will look at your hematocrit and hemoglobin, your symptoms, your overall risk picture, and other clotting factors like platelets can make difference too. The bottom line, this is monitor and manage with your clinician category, not a panic category. And finally, the stuff that can make you feel terrible regardless of testosterone. Lipids. HDL, LDL, triglycerides are largely driven by nutrition and lifestyle. If someone's drinking regularly, eating badly, not training, and lipids are elevated, a clinician may want these basics corrected first before committing to long-term treatment. Liver enzymes. Yes, alcohol can be a big driver, and so can excess body fat and poor metabolic health. If liver markers are off, that needs addressing, because it impacts long-term health and often how you feel day to day. Glucose, HbA1c, gives you a picture of glucose control over the past few months and your direction of travel towards insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. It's basically a marker of how well your body handles your nutrition and lifestyle. Blood pressure isn't part of the blood test itself, but is part of the same health picture and absolutely worth tracking, especially on TRT. So here is the simple framework. Understand units and timing first. Then total T, free T, SHBG Albumin. What's available versus what's stuck on the bus. LH and FSH useful before TRT. And why they are low on TRT. E2 and prolactin, mood and performance modifiers. Thyroid, because the overlap with low T symptoms is huge. CBC and metabolic markers for safety and sustainability. If you want my blood work checklist, there is a link in description. And for the next video, what do you want first? TRT expectations versus reality, or the TRT no diet? Comment for one of these.